Burned, Part 12, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. Today's theme is Summer Nights. If you have not heard the previous 11 parts of this story, you can find a link to them in the description box below. Now then, let's get burned. Cat Noir's suit stuck to his back, a nasty downside to what was otherwise a beautiful summer night. He'd escorted Marinette home from a distance, making sure to stay out of eyesight. Getting caught would only heighten the public's suspicion that she was Ladybug if he's stalking her out. In reality, Cat wanted to make sure she didn't run into trouble with the anti-Miraculous mob or jealous Adrian Agreste fans since their date made the news. Gotcha! He nearly flipped the person behind him when he felt a hand on his shoulder, but recognized Ladybug's voice as his muscles tensed and he seized control of his instincts. "Well, my lady," he began, raising a hand to his heart to show his surprise. "You should be in charge of my Miraculous if you're so quiet." "You didn't notice me coming?" "No. I must have daydreamed my senses away." "Why were you stalking that Marinette girl?" "Stalking is a bit harsh," he began, "but I don't want her getting caught up in any trouble." "What do you mean?" "I want to escort her for a little longer, at least until the gossip dies down, you know?" She took her place beside him. "You're..." It sounded like she hadn't thought her sentence through before starting. "You're a good guy, Cat. She's lucky to have you." "Well, you'd do the same if someone was falsely accused of being Cat Noir." She shook her head and made eye contact. "Even if it weren't false, I'd still be there." Did she realize what she was doing to him when she said things like that? He had to look away, grateful the heat and the night hid his burning cheeks. Any plans for the night?" he asked, trying to change the subject. "Not really. I'm caught up on the little things, for once." "I'm jealous. I wish I could say the same." There was a piano piece that desperately needed attention, and his father thought he'd worked on it all week. Yikes. And yet, here you are. "I'm going to give it a while longer. You never know what might happen. Fangirls are rabid, but boys can be even worse if a girl doesn't measure up to their anime-induced fantasies." She didn't respond, emphasizing her agreement. He didn't want to know what kind of scrutiny she had to endure simply for being a girl. The most he ever got was topless fan art, complete with stunning abs every time. "Well, thank you on her behalf. I'll stay until you go, okay?" "It's a date," he exclaimed, sticking his chin up with a smirk on his face. She gave him a playful shove and put her head on his shoulder, despite the heat. He knew he should take her actions at face value, but something like this only fueled hope. "You know," he continued, his gut twisting, "as much as I want to support platonic affection and the idea that a guy and a girl can just be friends, I'm sure you aren't blind to how I feel about you, Ladybug." She stiffened slightly, trying hard not to show an emotional response. "Sorry." It was the only response she gave, laced with hesitation and what sounded like a drop of guilt. They didn't say anything else as the traffic below them rumbled to the rooftop, but she didn't remove her head from his shoulder. Cat didn't know how to interpret that. There was a brief moment he thought she'd fallen asleep, but that was his mistake. Soon enough, but as slow as ever, an hour ticked by and she stood up and left him. He may as well get going as well. He had plans for tomorrow, after all, as both Adrian and as Cat Noir. The only thing he knew was, whether it was from the July heat or the hours spent with his crush on his shoulder, that the tips of his ears burned. It was a feeling he'd spend the night thinking about. Thank you so much for listening. Part 13 is on its way. In the meantime, you can check out other videos for more fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.